So why have you kept him around all this time? Look at you. Today you look like you're losing it. What's going on? Oh, coach, man, you know what? Richard in operations is just driving me crazy. We just haven't delivered. We've just one of the new clients we're bringing on has just cut their order in half simply because we messed up the first order they gave us. Yeah. You have chosen mediocrity, which is a slow poison. And you're preferring the slow poison to the surgery because the surgery is too bloody. You are deciding that your comfort is much more important than the pain of taking your organization to the next level. This video is about the Good Enough executive team. You already know. Every time I have sat with an executive who is struggling with somebody or whose team is not performing at the level that they should, every one of them knows. They already know who that person is. They already know the price they're paying. They already know the one or two people on their team who they know should not be on the team. They know it, they feel it, they see it in the meetings, they see it in the decisions that are not executed, they see it in the talent that is living, they see it in the fact that the culture is being diluted and people are becoming used to the fact that, in this place we can get away with it, because whether you perform or not, you're rewarded, you can stay around. And that is the culture you're building. Most importantly, you're keeping the good enough and sacrificing the best of your company. Because you've chosen loyalty, you've chosen team, they've been around for so long, they've got institutional knowledge, and they have a team that they've built for a long time, and their team will feel bad, and that is the story you keep telling yourself because it feels safe. But the real story is actually simpler and uglier. You are more afraid of the short-term mess than the long-term road. You are more afraid of doing the right thing right now because of the fact that you don't know what the future holds, but most importantly, you're willing to not know and sacrifice the beauty of your company. When I was speaking to this particular executive, I was very blunt, and I have been known to be blunt because that's the only way you got to help these people sometimes. I said to him, you got two options right now. Option number one, you can keep the current team and accept that the company's ceiling is now set by the weakest senior executive. And you can continue to tell yourself, oh, you know what, it's because of stability, or it's because of, I don't want to rock the boat enough. And if that is what you've decided, shut up and stop bothering everybody and get back to work and just continue with your mediocrity and, allow the results to plateau. Or, on the other hand, the option two is decide right now that the standard is higher, that good enough is not good enough anymore, that the people, the executive team that got you here is not going to get you to the next level. Why? Sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes the people who get you to a certain level as a founding member are not the scaling members, and you need to be aware of that. Sometimes there are certain people who, whatever happens, you're not going to be able to take them to the next level. One of I've had too many stories, especially with family-owned companies and founders, where when I was a young consultant, I was very, bullish. I was like, fire everybody, and at that time I could see that if they don't, it's going to cost them. Then one time I get a gig with Superdome, a huge, really well-run logistical support company that does oil and gas in down in Dar es Salaam. And I get in and I misread that there is a certain silo of the leader and his people. And these guys were so tight that there were 3 or 4 littered offices around this big complex, which had legacy executives who were actually detrimental to the culture of the place, but because they were relatives, they were untouchables. And which meant that everybody else scattered around them. Everybody else, oh, you can't say this just in case Madame so-and-so hears it, or so-and-so does, And I just walked into the office one time and said to the guy, listen, dude, you're wasting my time here. If you're not going to fire so-and-so and you're not going to put them on a PIP or whatever, we're wasting time. And the guy's face went red and he was like, oh. Now, I did not know. And my relationship with them got rocked for about 3 months because I had touched a really painful point. Why? The owners, the founders' vision was to always help his people, help his family, and he brings me in because he's plateaued. Nothing is going to the next level. And the reason that is because he had some executives who had been around for a long time. Their mind was cobwebbed in terms of how things were done. They were not looking at what the world is doing outside. There's a great saying that when the change on the outside exceeds the change on the inside, then the end is nigh. They were going at 100 miles towards the end simply because the people inside had not styled up to what was going on the outside. So I walk in, I do my assessment, I go, I tell the guy, you got to fire this guy or put this guy on PIP or move this guy, and it rubbed him the wrong way. But I knew that if he doesn't do something, he's just going to end up losing everything. Now, the younger generation, who were the nominated, unspoken successors, were really, really on my side. In private, they would come to me. In fact, they took me out as a family. There was 2 young men and their sister. They took me out to this posh, amazing restaurant, and they said, hey, you know what? We brought you here because we want to talk about the good enough executive. So there's no third option when you get into these positions. There's no third option. There's no, let us consider. No, either you agree that you're going to end up failing and losing most of what you've built and just staying there and working your ass off until the Almighty takes you, or you're going to decide that the standard is higher, good enough is not good enough anymore. Have the conversations with these people, set clear objectives, clear time-bound expectations. And if they can't meet them, remove them. If they can't meet them, at least you've given them a chance. Allow them to exit. Allow them to go do something else. Because when you do that, you will have saved everybody else. You'd have done what you're supposed to do as a leader, founder. Most importantly, you would have solved that energy, brain power that you're always wasting on knowing that there is an issue, but not doing something about it. Sometimes good enough is not good enough for the next level. And you got to be aware of that. You got to be comfortable with that. And you got to decide that now is the time. That's the choice. Make it consciously, or keep telling yourself the comfortable story while it costs you real compounding. Most importantly, the competition is eating you up like breakfast. Hey, so until next time, I want you to remember that together we have the audacity to not just build great companies, but bring other people along with us so that we leave this world a better place. There is a link at the end of this video, or there is a QR code or something somewhere on here. Click it and go and get your autopsy done. Your leadership autopsy, it will tell you exactly where you are, if you're leaking some, where your problem is. And then when you do that, you'll be able to know exactly what you need to do to remove the friction so that you can begin to build and enjoy what you're building. Most importantly, make more money if that is what the goal is. Until next time, peace.